Yeah, I was just tightening the battery down. Okay. Do I look good now? Now we should have horn. Yeah, we got horn. Okay. This one's ready to run. Now, do you think this one will be a 2-kicker or a 4-kicker, or how many kicker?
I say prime splice.
The air cleaner is a teardrop. Indian called it a teardrop air cleaner. I call it a bug deflector because it's really nothing more than a chrome piece. It has a real fine mesh screen on the back side in here. Like I said, it was a heavy-duty luggage rack available from 1940 up, and they did list it as black only in the accessory catalog. The other thing that's very difficult to find, and this is a 2-year item, is these dimmer switches. By loosening them, you could lessen the tension on the front end so it would suck the bumps up a little bit more. This is something that was an Indian accessory. It had the Indian head, with the chief head with the headdress on, and then a Indian red background on it. In 1940, late 47 and 48, they went to an air cleaner that had the Indian script on it. It was a chrome air cleaner. It's a hubcap of some kind. Some of the aftermarket companies made a complete aluminum disc or a steel disc to enclose the spokes all together. The speedometer, in my opinion, all 46s and 7s had the red bar in the odometer holes. This one's Indian red and black. It's a combination I like. I love black when it's clean. It's the hardest color to keep clean.
Back to that song.
On our way home from Elmer's, I felt like we were getting closer to finding out what Indian was all about. We had met a lot of people and heard a lot of stories, but Deanie was trying to explain one to me but was getting a bit technical. I think Indian is mostly just a feeling.
Just wing it, okay. My name is Dean Black. I currently, for about 20 years, been restoring Indian motorcycles. Just great hobby, a lot of fun. You meet a lot of great people. This is currently one I've just finished, a 1951 Warrior TT off-road model. This particular model came in Indian Scarlet, which is the orangish color that you see. That is true for Indian, it's correct color. It had what they call bob fenders, the hand grips for off-road trail riding. High bars, high pegs. Some of those were some of the characteristics of this particular bike over the street models. This is a 1949 Aero, which is a single-cylinder, model 149. This was basically Indian's beginning to the vertical models. As you can see, it's quite a bit smaller than the blue Warrior prototype. This is a friend of mine's bike, Rick Brown. He's a proud owner of this fine machine. This is quite a beautiful machine. It's a 1952 Indian Warrior prototype, okay? There supposedly is only a handful of these that were made on the Indian. We have an Indian sheet from the factory. This is the only one that has been fully restored. These are called vertical models. The first few of these that they produced in the Aero and the Scout, the Indian did a lot of, they rushed a lot and made a lot of mistakes. And like I say, they made a lot of light-duty parts that broke and caused a bad name. This machine, they made a lot of updates, and it's a lot heavier, a lot more functional. Who knows? Yes, it could have helped. If it could have very well helped. It was a nice in-between bike. It's a nice in-between size. It's 500 cc's, goes down the road very nice. It could have very well helped their, markability to keep things rolling. And if Indian ever comes back, like I say, Indian, all the power to them. It'll be American-made machine, if in true it is an American-made machine, and all the power to the person that does that. But in my mind, it'll never be a real Indian. A real Indian is from 1901 to 1953. As some of the people say, the only real Indian is an old Indian, and that's what I believe.
Working at the Indian Company back in the 52, 53, we could see it deteriorating and going down. They, more and more parts they were making were being subcontracted. Like they used to own the presses and the machines to make the fenders and so on and so forth. Then Tyflex Corporation took over that, and they were running it. So that's why I'd go out and pick up parts at different subcontractors. And you could see the people working there, they didn't care anymore. It was a dying breed, and they just were working there like most of them just 8 to 5, and that was it. They didn't care about it. I was young and wanted Indian to go and be the top, you know. Okay, right now where we are is Mr. Hendy's old home, his estate. Now it's taken over by a religious group, and it's a school for teaching St. Alphonsus College up here. But years ago, when Mr. Hendy lived here, this was a really big estate. He had chauffeurs, everything else, 55 acres of land. It's up on a little bit of a hill just outside of Agawam, Massachusetts. Beautiful, beautiful landscape up here, and the scenes are of the New England woods and mountains here. Absolutely fantastic. All right, here we are back at the Old Indian Motorcycle Factory, and this is only half of the factory is left now. They took down the front part of it, and they changed the back part of it into a residential complex here, apartments and stuff. It looks a lot different. Now, I haven't been here in 40 years, so it looks different even for me. And I used to work right here on the second floor most of the time. Used to punch in right over there, 8 o'clock in the morning, and work till 4 o'clock at night. And I used to go home at lunchtime. I always drove a motorcycle back and forth to work here. It sure enough has changed here, though. I tell you, it's different not being here in 40 years.